they opened up with Cody and Orton for the King of the Ring final. And again, the crowd is live over there. Is it my imagination, or when they started doing this a few years ago, the people were a bit more reserved, weren't they? Or am I misremembering? Because I don't remember them just, and I know people would say, well, they hadn't seen it. Well, they had to see it enough for them to pay for it to be over there on television or whatever. So I'm just wondering if now people have loosened up more than they used to there.
I don't know. Obviously, WWE has been coming over there and people really like it and it's embraced by the kingdom. So you're allowed to embrace it. You asked about the difference between this and the North Korea show. If you remember, those fans just sat there. Those fans, it was almost like synchronized fandom.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to do anything, or they were afraid to do anything, or they were only allowed to do what they were told. These people were dancing around and shit, so I don't think it's...
They're dancing and singing and moonwalking and all kinds of stuff. And that's when Cody and Orton, they started out locked up and did whatever, and the people were just chanting and waving and singing and jumping about to the point where they stopped the match and just stared at them so they could, and they're doing nothing to be like, ah! But finally, this was refreshing to me because it was one-on-one. It was not a match where there was no disqualification. And they started out actually doing wrestling stuff. And they had a wrestling match. And they're two of the best guys in the business at it. And there was the tension, obviously. You never know, is Orton going to turn? He's already made threats. There's nothing he won't do. But at the same time, Orton was really the one that sold in this match. And it was brilliant because he hurt himself. In that, at one point when he gave Cody a superplex, boom, and he landed. They know he's got back problems. He hurt his back and he started selling his back. And that was brilliant because with where they're going in the finish, later on or at whatever point, Orton can make a claim, I hurt myself. That's, but nevertheless, nobody was cheating, but Cody worked the back, but it was forearms. It wasn't punches. He wasn't doing shit behind the referee's back, but he's being a competitive athlete. So nobody did anything in this out of character, something that person wouldn't do just for the sake of a goddamn, this is a cool move, to change people's perception of them. And Orton sells to me better than anybody his size in the business. And look, he's fucking massive. And yet, he can sell and he conveys the pain and the facial expression. And, anyway, they did a number of big moves, 2 counts, things like that. And finally, the crossroads once, the RKO. The RKO once, they got 2 counts. But then Cody was in a spot where he was set up for the punt, and Orton was backing up for it, and then you could see on his face, and it wasn't like this, the goofiness of when they go out and they grab the belt, they got the belt drawn back, and then suddenly they have a pang of guilt. It was like he's waiting for Cody to get up there, and there he is, and he's thinking, should I? Goddamn, I don't want to kick his head in. Fuck it, I'm going to. He waited just a second, and then Cody moved. And then Cody got the figure 4, and Orton turned it. And they did a big rubber-legged yay boo in the middle and went into a hockey fight. And this was, boom, really good. And then Orton gets a chair, and they're doing this there too, where a guy can bring a chair in the ring, and the referee, as long as he either asks for it politely or just grabs it back, it's not a disqualification. But nevertheless, And while Lil Nate's Charles Robinson is putting the chair out, Orton undoes the turnbuckle pad. And he tried to run Cody's head into it, but Cody blocked it. Boom, boom, they jockey for position. Orton goes for the RKO, and Cody pushes him into the buckle, into a crossroads 1, 2, 3. This was refreshing. Great babyface match where neither guy turned heel or did anything out of character. But at the same time, after Orton lost, as he was walking back, he was not looking happy. And you never know what might happen in the future. And Cody was cutting a promo, putting Orton over. And Orton was kind of looking back at him. And then Cody promised he's headed to SummerSlam to face either Punk or Cena, and he will get the ball back. So he better get the ball back at SummerSlam. Might he not, or elsewise that's going to be another kick in the balls.
He has to. And I don't want to spoil it now. We'll get to it later. He has to, and it can't be a finish like the finish they had on this show. It has to be a finish. But yeah, I think so, and I think this is a good match, and I think they even got me for a minute thinking, oh, maybe Orton will win this. What did you think of the turnbuckle spot?
Well, again, he said there wasn't anything he would stop at, but he did vacillate somewhat on kicking his head in. And Orton's the Viper. He's a little bit heelish. It's not out of character for him to do that as a babyface. What I would have loved for them to do, I see where they were going. Cody was working the lower back because the lower back was affected by the superplex. That's why I hate when these fucking indie morons give a guy a superplex and then just roll through and either pick him up and give him something else or roll through and the guy that got superplex does something. But go, what the fuck are you doing? So I know they were working the lower back, but when Randy went for the RKO and Cody pushes him off, he had to turn and kind of hit his ribs, because I would have loved, I see they wanted to foil the RKO, but I would have loved if Cody could have jerked him around where he could have taken a flat back turnbuckle and sold it out into the crossroads. And that would have, to me, looked more painful and convincing. That's the only problem I had with the turnbuckle.
All right, well, good opening match, and now it's King Cody Rhodes. I don't know if he's going to wear that crown. Are they allowed to take the crown away, or is it like that championship you win over there where you're not allowed to leave with it?
I don't know. But also now that would be unwieldy to sing King Cody Rhodes, King Cody Rhodes, King Cody Rhodes, King Cody Rhodes.
And Queen Brandy.
Now it's more Queen.